Sometimes I forget. I forget to turn it down or turn it off because I like the sound of it. Welcome to the Ugly Truth. I don't know what episode we're at.
597, I think. Sorry.
So we are down to this show and then one more show, and then we're done for the year. And then we'll be back in the new year with a whole new nothing.
We'll hit episode
same
600.
Same old. Well, that is a big deal,
year,
actually. That is a big deal. But welcome to the Ugly Truth. I am Jamie, and this is our producer Dub,
Hello.
in the house, getting his exclusive.
I get my own personal time.
Yes, you get your own time.
My spousal therapy session.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Anyway, so last night, I don't know how these come up, and I really hate that I can't think of them when someone might actually hear it besides you.
Okay.
But last night, you kissed me goodnight, or kissed me good morning. I don't even remember. Was it the night before? Whatever.
Okay. I don't know what you're going to talk about. So.
And you kissed me, and I immediately wiped it off my face.
Yes.
I do this without even thinking about it anymore.
Yeah.
I just do it now.
Yes.
Because you're a wet kisser.
It's just,
and
like, even if I'm not, if I like put my lips inside my face and kiss you, you still wipe your mouth off.
No, if I feel wetness after you kiss me, I have to wipe it.
Do you wipe after you put, a chapstick or like lipstick on?
Well, that's not someone else's saliva, so no.
All right.
But anyway, I said, it's like, you're like, God, you wipe it off. It's just a small kiss. You wiped it off.
Milliseconds. It was a peck.
And I said, well, it's like kissing a puddle. You just leave residual wetness. And listen, everyone knows how weird I am, so this is not,
Yeah.
But this is why I don't share straws or drinks. And you've been really great over the years. You've learned how to actually take a drink without touching your mouth on anything.
Oh, if I need to use your glass for some reason.
It's proof that people can change. That's the way I look at it.
That's the important one too. That's the important change.
And I really do try to think about how I would feel if you wipe your mouth every time I kissed you. But then again, I'm just like, well, you know what? If it's wet, it's wet. What are you going to do? I don't want glistening spit on my mouth, nor do I want it to dry there. So it wipes. I should get handkerchiefs.
I think it's become instinct. I think you do it. I think you do it even if it's not. I think you immediately wipe no matter what happens.
It's always wet.
Okay.
And then I think, well, maybe if he was a dry kisser, I'd probably hate it more. Then I'd probably be constantly licking your lips before you kissed me. I'd be, hold on a minute. Kiss me.
Okay.
I'm
a puddle. That's me.
I just know how grateful I am that you, anyway, as a man, can handle all of this kind of criticism and weirdness. Because if you were me, I would probably have to leave you. I'd be like, this is way too much criticism. I can't take it. You don't even, attorney's office, he doesn't even want to kiss me anymore because he says I'm a puddle. And he wipes his mouth every time. I can't imagine. I don't know. I appreciate you accepting me and my weird criticisms because it's not even it's not even like normal stuff. It's like, you leave your socks on the floor constantly. None of that. It's not even that.
I could just see it now, my tombstone. It'd be like, beloved
he was
husband,
a wet kisser.
beloved husband, tremendous father.
Tremendous. Oh,
tremendous.
Well.
I'm giving myself a lot here.
Wet kisser.
Hard worker.
Wet kisser.
Puddle.
No. Well, I might do that, actually. It just depends on how you die.
Exactly.
Anyway, moving on, this last week, we did a whirlwind trip to Southern California. We went to Disneyland parks, Disney parks. The first half of the 24-hour whirlwind was at Disney California Adventure for an iHeartRadio fan/staff party.
Right. It's the Christmas party for KOST
in LA. And they closed the park down, and there's hardly anybody. I mean, it feels like hardly anybody. There's probably 10,000 people, but it just doesn't feel like it.
Comparatively, there's not a lot.
It feels desolate, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
So
it's a private party, like a grad night with a third of the people.
Oh yeah. So we were fortunate enough to be able to attend that. So we made all the arrangements. We took our daughter, it landed on her birthday. So we took her with us, even though she's 27. Who cares?
Yeah.
And I told her, I said, this will likely be the last time we are ever able to do anything like this because, you're going to get married, you're going to have kids. And then, it would be weird to say, hey, you want to go to Disneyland with your parents? And you're like, I'm a mother and a wife and I have children and a job. No.
That's funny, though. I think about Natalie specifically, our oldest daughter, and I'm thinking if we ever said to her, hey, we're going to Disneyland, but we can only take you. You can't take your kids, can't take your husband, can't take anybody. She'd be like, see you in 10.
She would be on a plane. It is true. It's not the easiest thing as an adult to just leave your life, even for 24 hours. But she did it. It was great. I'm glad we did it. But of course, it was not without its complaints because,
Well, because it's travel and it's us.
Of course. First of all, our flight left at like 1:30 in the afternoon out of Sacramento. So it didn't even occur to me that parking would be an issue.
Yeah.
Midweek, 1:00. I'm like, there's not going to be, it'll be dead. Well, that every business person on the planet who has to travel has arrived at 4 a.m. to get on the first flight to get to their 8 a.m. meeting. So the parking garage was completely full.
Yep.
We had to park in daily parking, I guess is what we call it. And we had to park really far away, like a mile, literally at least.
Yeah, it was far.
A mile away. So we're walking, we're energetic. We have our, Nikes on. We're like, no problem. We're walking. And we walked all the way. We get there, fly through security. Everything's great. But in my mind, I was like, when we come back road weary and we've been walking like miles and miles, we're going to have to walk this back.
Yeah.
At 11 o'clock at night.
We were regretting it as we were walking away.
Yes. But the way I looked at it is I'm like, look, we're healthy, we're young, we can walk, we're fine. And it's never going to kill us to walk anyway. Like, it's good for us. So we're like, whatever. But I was thinking about it when we were walking. I'm like, there's a lot of things about travel that I personally struggle with. Mm-hmm. It's other people, obviously. Yeah. That's the main thing. And that was brought home to me many, many times in 24 hours. Even at the parks, I was like, wow,
Well, that's just peopling in general, let alone travel. Well, it just exacerbates
honestly what it is, it's the lack of awareness of others. That's the thing that bugs me. I'm like, if everybody just even had a teensy bit of awareness of their surroundings or others and how they might be treating themselves around others, that might go, maybe I'm a little more observant than the average Joe, but
interesting, right? Because you don't want to complain because these are first world kind of problems. You get to be at Disneyland, you're staying.
I'm complaining. I'm absolutely complaining. Yeah. We get to the airport. Luckily, so the TSA check line was very fast, so I didn't think anything of it. But we signed up for Clear
before we went to London.
Right? Because we wanted to go quickly
prior, and then you signed up when we were going to
And London. You can tell it's a new program because it still has its little kinks to work out. Yeah. Which is essentially the computer.
Yeah, it's usually the people, but yeah.
Well, maybe it was a user error on my part.
No, I just meant the like.
But this was the first time I was using Clear after I had registered for it, and it was like, oh, do it again. Oh, can you step up? Are you centering the line between your eyes? I'm like, yes, and it's very uncomfortable because nobody wants a laser dot on their face in between their eyes. In any other scenario, this is a very bad thing.
What's funny is that it's red if you're in the wrong spot. That makes it even worse.
I know. And I'm like, they should really reevaluate this, although maybe I'm the only one who cares.
It should be like a sad face and a happy face or something.
There you go. And then finally she goes, you know what, let's just do your fingers because the thumbprints work better. And it worked immediately, obviously. Right. And we sail through. It's always worth it because you don't have to take off your shoes. You don't have to go through the thing.
TSA is great by itself. Oh, speaking of, mine expires in January.
Oh.
I have to renew immediately.
Yeah, bet. But there's nothing that annoys me more than people who act like they've never been out of their house in a million years, and they arrive at the airport immediately not knowing how to behave or what to do. Like since 9/11, we have been removing our shoes and belts and everything. It's a pain in the ass. I don't know if it works, but that's beside the point.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Sure.
So it's always amazing to me when I see people with like their fucking a gallon of water and they're right in front of the TSA agent and they're chugging it like there's no business because they are not throwing away this $2 plastic jug that they bought at the gym. It's like, why are you bringing a gallon of water with you anyway to the airport? It's never getting through. Or the standing there after they've, removed. First of all, why aren't your shoes off before you even get to where you need to be? Like, why are you not holding your shoes before you even get to the TSA agent? I don't understand.
It depends on the airport, I think. But this is exactly why I did TSA. Exactly. I don't want to take my computer out of my bag. If I don't have to, I don't want to take my shoes and belt off. I just want to go through, get checked.
And yet, still, even going through the pre-check line, there was still a gentleman in front of me who had a bunch of shit in his pocket. So he goes through, I'm like, okay, is this your first day on Earth, sir?
Oh, my God. You know what? Doing that in the TSA line means if you're in the TSA line, pre-check line, you typically travel... You travel enough to warrant having that.
You understand the thing.
So stupid.
And I was telling Mackenzie, I'm like, the airport is the great equalizer because you can be a millionaire or you can be on your last dime and you still have to get through this process and you start questioning intelligence immediately. It doesn't matter. It's like, and I raised these kids when we started taking them to Disneyland when they were very young. I turned to them and I said, listen, when we're going through security, it's every man for himself. You're on your own. This is what you need to do. And I train them and they're just like, mother. And I'm like, I'll see you on the other side. And I'm just like, you guys have to be independent. You have to know how to do this.
Yeah.
Don't be a bitch.
We made Kenzie go through.
She doesn't even have pre-checks, so she had to go through the whole thing.
We went through the pre-check line because we didn't want to take her shoes off. And the other line was really short. Honestly, when it's short like that, sometimes you can get through the line part faster because they have more TSA agents doing the regular line than you can the pre-check line. But all that goes to hell when everybody has to take their shoes off, take their shit out of their bag, do all this stuff. So even if the line at the pre-check is longer, you still get through the whole thing faster because you didn't have to do any of that post-ID shit.
And then the other thing is, when you're waiting in line, especially when you're not in pre-check, even when you're in pre-check, somebody wants to be conversational with you. Ugh. And I'm just like, please, can there be some kind of sign that says no talking, no talking?
I want my entire life outside of this house to have the same options
on Uber
as Uber.
Yes.
No conversation. How much conversation do you want? How much talking do you want? What kind of music do you want? I was like, I don't want you to do shit. I want you to be fucking silent and get me to where I'm going.
But it started making me question, maybe we could just get like a helicopter? Can we just chopper somewhere?
That reminds me, I think at one point I said to you and Kenzie that, look, this was the nicest flight we got. I upgraded to business class, the business select or whatever Southwest fucking calls it, so we could board quickly.
Yeah.
We were on there, and it was on the way there. And I think at some point while we were there, I mentioned, look, I got the best flight we could get. And Kenzie looks, in total you fashion, Kenzie looks at me, she goes, you could have chartered something.
I mean.
It's like, what is going on?
We decided to stay at Disney Californian. The Disney Californian?
Grand
Californian is the big resort hotel that accommodates large families and large groups and stuff. It's gorgeous. It's like a big lodge, there's like a 40-foot tree. Santa shows up every few hours. There's carolers. There's a giant.
Yeah.
I mean, it is all about the family unit at this place. Now, I have always been hesitant to stay at the Grand Californian because I knew all of this and I've seen the rooms. They're for like families of 5, like bunk beds, extra beds, cots, pull out beds, all in the same room. It's really cool and it's perfect for like a really long stay if you're taking extended family members.
Yeah,
it's great.
It's mostly about the location because you are right. I mean, you cannot get closer to either park. You
literally are 20 feet away from the entrance of California Adventure.
There's a back entrance.
There's a back entrance for a hotel stay.
Yeah.
Anyway, but I always looked at them and God, they just look it looks just so tired already, so worn out because families go to Disneyland and this is the big indulgence. And so I'm like, it just looks like it might smell like diapers there. So we walk in and it is grand and it is great. and we go up to the elevator, and sure as shit, man, I'm like, it really smells like diapers, man. It does. Do you know how many diapers they must throw away a day at that place? Just so many. And they're constantly cleaning. Like, we saw cleaners constantly.
Let me just say this to all of you parents out there, you young parents now. If your kid is in diapers, I'll give you a pass on pull-ups if they're training, right? But if they're your kid, don't fucking go to Disneyland.
Well, that was going to be my next thing.
They're too little.
Yeah, so they're
too little.
The hotel is great.
They won't remember it.
We go, and so we go to the holiday party. Frigid, freezing, but so fun.
Well, California freezing.
Yeah, well, I mean, okay, fine. It was like 42, and it was cold, and we were there till almost 1 a.m. Yeah. I mean, it was really freezing.
No, for us, it was absolutely cold. I'm just saying it wasn't like,
ended up having to buy a hoodie, of course.
Right.
But anyway, it was
fashionable
amazing.
all black hoodie because, and let's just get this out of the way now, all the Disneyland clothes suck right now.
They're so ugly.
They're so terrible.
They're so ugly, and I'm like, I'm not buying a thing.
I mean, they're supposed to be promotional and they're cute
not to mention,
and different, but like, it was, even I was like, I couldn't find anything.
What the fuck is this shit?
I mean, we are trying to find something.
We're like, take my money.
Yeah, and we couldn't.
And they just had
went
nothing.
to the surf shop and got an all black
everywhere.
Hoodie.
Yeah, so we went to the surf shop on downtown Disney. I'm like, look at this plain black hoodie for $40. I'll take it.
Yeah, right.
But I'm not paying $60 for some truly heinous thing. I saw people in pajama bottoms that they bought at the Disney store. I'm like, hell no.
I know.
It's not happening. Anyway, so our mistake is that we entered the holiday party a little too early. So by the time we got back, our dogs were barking, paws were hurt. We're like, oh, just let's go to sleep and we'll feel better in the morning.
We covered a lot of mileage in a very short period of time.
I think we ultimately realized that we walked like 8 miles.
It was like 7.5 each day or something.
Yeah, so it was like 7.1 miles, whatever. We walked a lot. And it was in like 6 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know what we were thinking. We wake up the next day and you guys were like, oh, I said, well, maybe we can get some room service. We can just get our morning started. It'll be great. And you and Mackenzie look at me like I'm an insane person. And I'm like, what? They're like, Mom, it opens at 8. I'm like, oh, you think I'm walking into Disneyland at 8 a.m. with all the crazy people? Oh, fuck that. I am not. I realize that this is an exciting time and Disneyland is a privilege and you want to get every moment out of it. But I'd be goddamned if I'm going to be getting up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, speed walking into Disneyland just to start the day. Hell no, it's not happening. I want coffee, I want a shower, and I want to look at least a little put together. Not like I just was rode hard and put away wet, for God's sake. You guys thought I was nuts. And guess what? We didn't get out of thankfully, you're like, oh, well, I can do a mobile order and we can get coffee. And I go, we can get room service in 20 minutes. And so that's what we did. And it was the best. It was so nice, but we were tired.
Yeah. Well,
but then, it was great.
We were fitting a lot into a very short period.
And I remember it was like 8:30 and I look outside and there's a whole family with a stroller. Everybody's wearing their Disney best and their ears and they are speed walking towards the entrance. And I'm like, kill me now. I would never. I don't want to do that. I personally don't want to do that. In fact, even when we took the kids when they were little, I refused to do it.
You know what's funny is that this is the unspoken history of a park like Disneyland. Because I sent you a TikTok the other day. I don't know if you watched it yet. And it was a promotional thing, but it was a dad with his kids and talking to Walt Disney. And the kids wanted to, actually talking to Walt. It was rehearsed,
of
right? Of
course.
Like asking if the parade was going to happen and all this kind of stuff. And the dad's like, I could use a parade. I could sit on the curb right fucking now. And it's like, oh, so even in the 60s,
changed.
when a third of that park was there, they were exhausted after hours.
What was worse about the 60s is everybody was wearing like suits and dress shoes and all that crap. Oh my God. Yeah. So it was, but we did.
No wonder fucking Walt Disney had his own apartment at the park.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Do you know how many times people have fantasized about wishing they could just stay at that apartment because they're fucking tired and the idea of trekking back to the hotel or the tram or something at midnight?
And back then there were no hotels that close either.
No, there was not.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we did get to Disneyland and there's something about walking into Disneyland. even as an adult, even if you've been many times, you just go, this is going to be a good day.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're excited.
Despite all this complaining, it's still phenomenal.
Better than
fun.
Better than a needle in the eye.
This is stupid, but it is kind of magical to go.
Well, it's magical simply because of, first of all, the history. And
it's just,
I don't know.
It's just you get memories immediately of the different times you've been there and where you've gone. And, it's just really cool. So, despite all this complaining.
However, I will say this. I am failing to understand why parents are bringing infants and toddlers to Disneyland.
That's what I said.
Now, I know we're revisiting it. Oh. It is so expensive to go to Disneyland.
I don't give a fuck if it's free for the little kid. Like, you're under 2, you're free, right?
Hold on. I have a point.
Okay.
It's so expensive to take kids to Disneyland, but they're free if they're under 2.
Right.
So they're thinking, oh, we'll get the photo, we'll get the because we're going to save ourselves $200 a day because our child is under the age of 2. It'll be so great. But it is, I can't imagine a worse punishment for an adult.
Unless you take a grandparent with you who won't ride anything and can just sit with the kids so you can have the day and cut the line with the stroller thing, which they don't even let you do anymore. Like,
speaking on behalf
this is all nightmares to me, by the way. I'm trying to look for a reason why you would do that with a child, and I struggle.
I can't. Even if you live down the street, why would you do it? Why would you do it? You are causing yourself so much harm and stress.
A lot of it is, I think, that some of these parents are Disney fans themselves, obviously.
Sure.
Right. And so they cannot wait once they have children to take them. I get it. And the problem is that they don't remember any of it.
I saw a couple and they had a double stroller.
Ugh.
And, Disney had to put a rule in place.
Yeah.
They have squares everywhere throughout the park saying, does your stroller fit in this box?
Yeah.
If it doesn't, go rent one from us because you can't have it.
Yeah.
Because they're like fucking cars
not even
now.
Walking around the park.
No, because it causes problems. Yeah. Anyway.
Let's talk about the other things on wheels at Disneyland.
The scooter chairs.
What in the actual fuck? If you're 9,000 pounds or 112 years old and you can't walk from A to B, and I'm not even talking 15 miles, I'm talking A to B. No.
You can't go to Disneyland.
Right, no. And in fact, I don't know if you noticed this, but the vast majority of those scooters were not rented at Disneyland.
No, they own that shit.
They either own them or they rented them somewhere else, and then they come and then they go 60 miles an hour down Main Street.
So fast.
Like drag racing versus strollers is just
And
terrible.
You know what? Here's the thing I noticed. The people that were legitimately ill and like truly were maybe doing a Make-A-Wish thing or they were ill, they were in wheelchairs.
Yeah.
The scooter chairs were different. And I do have a preconceived notion that you have no business being on a scooter chair ever.
I mean,
at Disneyland.
There was about 0.02 seconds the first night when thought my legs were going to fall off. I thought it might be a good idea, but it was a very, very minuscule thought. Like I could never. So
I get it. But you really do need to be prepared to be able to walk always. Leg injuries aside.
Here's why people get exhausted at Disneyland.
They're out of shape.
Nope. It's not it. It is because the way we should really go is stay for 4 or 5 days.
Oh, right.
Take breaks, relax, hit a couple rides, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that's way too expensive.
Oh, yeah.
And because it's so expensive, people do like what we did, and they try and do 5 days worth of visiting and walking
in 24 hours.
24 hours.
Yes.
And that's why. Like if you just, I never got tired. We walked a lot when we went to Hawaii. I don't ever remember one time getting tired.
No, we had a great time. We walked miles. We walked like 30 miles on our vacation.
Never once was tired because we were going in short bursts. We were taking breaks. We were relaxing. Well,
it's amazing what alcohol will do as well.
Agreed. But I mean, you
forget the pain.
It wasn't just walking. It was power walking.
It's true.
It was, standing all day in line, never sitting down.
So true. But anyway, with all of that being said, it is a plethora of humanity. And I almost become aroused by the amount of families and people watching I get to do. I could sit somewhere and watch just society walk by for hours.
The most expensive people watching in America.
It is amazing with an occasional character or ride fit in. It's so great.
Yeah.
Because it's just, you see anything you could possibly imagine. That includes the airport, by the way, I should say. But you did get to go experience Star Wars Land again.
Yeah, that was fun.
And you got to go on Rise of the Resistance, which was not open the last time you went.
Yeah, because the last time we went, it was the first weekend it was open.
Right. And so it was still being built. And so now we got on it.
Yep.
And you and Mackenzie were speechless.
It's like unlike anything you'll ever ride, and I'm not even talking if you're a Star Wars fan. You've never ridden an amusement park ride like this ever.
It was very
to say
impressive.
Ride is almost not enough. Well, it's more of an experience.
It is an experience, but you and I were talking about how the entertainment world, the amusement park world, they're really starting to shift the way they do their new rides. They aren't just rides; they're experiences now. So they're fully immersive,
and not just the queue, right? Like just,
everything.
Yeah.
Even the people who are pushing you to go, okay, go in lane 3, you're blue, go over here, whatever.
Well, they're all Star Wars Land. They're more immersive.
They're all immersive, like they're playing a role instead of just, hello, ladies and gentlemen, if you're a 3, they don't do that anymore. Now they're just like treating you like you're truly in trouble with the Empire or whatever.
The First Order people in Galaxy's Edge are mean.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I mean, not, you know what I mean?
No,
they're serious. That's
it's great.
Serious, yeah. So,
but
anyway, it was like, super, super cool.
But to see your face after that experience, I almost started crying.
it was really cool.
That's the one thing about the Star Wars Land. I don't even know if they call it that. I don't even.
Galaxy's Edge.
Whatever. Okay, but it's so immersive that when you walk in, it's a whole different type of person in that world. There are people that enter Disneyland and never leave.
Unlike
that
anywhere
area.
else in Disneyland.
And you can totally tell.
I would say
they are Star Wars people.
Right. Unlike anywhere else in Disneyland, if you go into the galaxy, once you enter that area, you can forget you're in Disneyland. Because they literally block off everything. Yeah. People act like they work there. Like we were in one of the stores and some old lady's just working at the store. She's in costume or whatever the uniform is for the store, and some family comes in and the guy asks her, he goes, "What is Life Day?"
Oh, did she go through the whole thing?
She did. She knew it to a T what it was. Man. And I'm like, that's not just random stuff. Like,
no, they trained them to gotta know,
right? Like, and Life Day is a very random fan.
It was
level
everywhere.
Thing. Well, because of the timing.
I walked in and I'm like, what the fuck is Life Day?
Life Day is
and
like.
Why are they selling red Snuggies?
It's Star Wars Christmas basically.
Okay.
But regardless, she explained it and I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. Like,
well, watching you enjoy all of the Star Wars stuff. Now, I wish that I was as geek. I wish that I had that kind of passion for stuff. I don't. Not like that anyway.
Sure.
I actually, this is not the same, but I definitely feel that way. Like when we go to a museum, when there's like a thing that some kind of installation that I really want to see, I do get emotional. I do love art at that level, and Star Wars, honestly, it is art. It's just a different kind of art. And so watching you experience it was really cool because you were like, wow, this is amazing.
It really was. No. And, I videoed the whole thing. I didn't watch myself taking the video. I just literally turned the phone
just
on
to
just
capture
so I could capture
the whole experience. Yeah.
Right. And just kind of looking around and getting there. It doesn't do it justice.
Oh, for sure.
It looks amazing. The video is like, holy shit. And it still doesn't do it justice.
The other thing was you finally fulfilled your lifelong fan dream. Yeah. And you finally built and you own a lightsaber.
It's a legit.
What color did you get?
I got violet technically, but
you're
purple.
Violet?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we got to watch the whole thing.
That was a pretty cool experience.
I was really excited that we were actually able to watch the whole thing. One, because it was freezing outside, number one. And number two, it was a very cool experience watching you build this thing from the ground up. And I was trying to figure out how do they do all of this? But, whatever, batteries.
It was pretty cool. It
was awesome.
Yeah, it's...
And then so then you have this person who's leading the whole experience, this lady.
Yeah.
And she was great.
Yeah.
And she's, very into the story. Yoda comes on and starts talking. Oh my God, the Force is here. All that shit. Okay, great. But then when everybody's done and they're getting pretty much you're holding and everything, she approaches the boy next to you. He's probably 17, 18. Yeah. He's clearly compromised.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He's clearly. And she's asking him questions.
Like he has some kind of.
Probably on the spectrum, to be honest.
I don't even know if it was spectrum, but it was something like that. Yeah. Where he was just. Really enjoying the moment. He was with his dad, and she walks up and starts talking a million miles an hour about everything. He's like, what? I'm like, and I am so uncomfortable. And I'm like, oh yeah. Now she's in it.
I saw it.
And now she's in it because she can't go, oh, never mind. You don't understand. She's got to be in it. And she did really rotate great. She's like, oh, I didn't know either. I was hoping you knew. And then she kind of walked away, and I almost started crying. Yeah. Because he was so confused, and I was like, please leave this boy alone. He's just trying to just do it, But it was a great experience, and I'm so glad you got it. And of course, Mackenzie's like, Dad, take it out so I can take a picture. I'm like, immediately, no, we're not doing that. Okay, immediately, no.
Why? What?
There's a limit to what I can do, and I didn't want to do that. She wanted you to do the action figure. She wanted you to
She didn't say any of that.
She wanted you to pose with it outside.
No.
And I was like, please don't.
No.
I don't know. I guess I shouldn't care.
You shouldn't, but I wouldn't have done that anyway.
You would have done it.
I really take it more from a collector standpoint.
Of course.
I want that to, I'm not going to own some piece of shit if I'm going to own something.
And then, of course, shockingly, you can go on Etsy and buy all these amazing things.
Buy anything.
To mount it on the wall. Well, first of all, you have to mount it on the wall. You can't not.
Yeah, I mean.
What's the point?
Yeah.
You're going to mess with it.
It's like the ultimate nightlight.
Yeah, it's not going over the bed.
It's going over the bed.
No. It is not going over the bed, Lois.
Just kidding.
Anyway, so it was an amazing whirlwind, and I'm so glad that we got to do it, even though my legs I wanted to die.
Yeah.
But I thought it was great.
Had a good time. Really good time. It's, again, just quick trip, but man, a lot.
All I can say is, please don't take children under the age of 2 to Disneyland. If you can help it, please don't do that. Number 3, try to just save your money and at least try to go for 2 days instead of 1 day, because it was not easy.
Yeah.
I wanted to I woke up this morning and I'm like, okay, I'm starting to feel normal. I might be able to do more walking now, 2 days later. I don't know. How about you? Is your back still hurting?
Nope. I'm good. It was just the amount in the short period of time that did it.
There was one more thing we wanted to talk about from the Disneyland experience. We saw Chef Michael Voltaggio. Oh, yeah. And I need to tell Stephanie because that's her crush.
Yeah, she's just hold it for her.
Well, I know, but I'm going to tell her again.
Yeah, okay.
She'll be mad. What does he look like? I'll give her the tea.
We've seen him before, but not.
I have, but he was not as tall as I recall, but it was definitely him.
What's funny is that when they walked by us, I think the very first time they walked by, we were in
he's taller than me.
Alice in Wonderland ride line or something, because it's a fun ride. But there was some guy with him that I saw first. I went, I think that guy's famous. He looks familiar.
Maybe.
And then you said, there's Michael Voltaggio. I go, well, that's not the guy I just saw, but he was in. And then I looked and they were next to each other. So,
well, it was funny when he walked by, I go, is that Travis Barker? Because he's really tatted up and stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, that's not Travis Barker. Yeah, exactly. And Voltaggio is a little, he's lean, but he's not as tiny as Travis Barker. Anyway, all right.
He's pretty recognizable.
I will save that tidbit for another time. However, do you have an ugly and awkward moment of the week?
Yeah, I do.
What?
It's just like you push it, like you turn it off. It's
so
really
what?
Cute. Yeah, and you experienced this, so I apologize in advance. My brain was not functioning properly for some reason, but the other night you made enchiladas. Mm-hmm. And you have made what you call ghetto enchiladas before, which are really just enchiladas, but more like a lasagna. Like they're just layered. They're not rolled burritos. And then, the
old school way of making enchiladas is you roll them up.
Yeah, right.
And you put them in a row.
Right. Which is not how you like these. but you did call out that these were not your normal. You made full on beef enchiladas with the whole burrito thing and everything.
Yeah, I dipped the tortillas in enchilada sauce. I did it old school.
Yes, and it was delicious.
You were okay.
It was delicious. So you had arranged them in such a way, but when you got served yourself, you went kind of the long ways of the enchiladas, and I was like, oh, that's kind of weird. Maybe these are ghetto enchiladas, and then proceeded to cut in the same direction, only to realize later that I was literally cutting these burritos in half instead of just taking the rolled enchiladas. I know, but they're rolled. I'm trying to make the expression that they're rolled. So actual enchiladas. So you're like, why did you do that? And I'm like, you did it. I'm like, you did it too. And you're like, no, I took 2 and then you just cut across like 5 of them. And I went, oh, wait. Yeah. And then it dawned on me that the enchiladas you made didn't go all the way across this dish. So you put 2 in the horizontal direction.
Well, here's the other thing that was weird.
I just brainlessly went in and cut them. But like here's what's weird.
Okay, so it's in a big old 9x14
or whatever,
tray, right? Like a big old baking dish. Yeah. And I had 2 extras, so I pushed them in on the side along the whole road, right? Yes. And I took those 2.
Yes.
Because I didn't want to.
Correct. Okay. Right. Totally get it.
But here's what was weird. When I went up to I'm like, oh, maybe I'll have they're small. I'm going to have another one. So I go up and I look. But here's what was even weirder about it. It's not like you took like a square. You took a whole half of the tray. Like all of them. All of it. I was like, why did you eat half of the tray and cut across every enchilada? You halved every enchilada that I made.
Stupid.
And then you proceed to get hostile.
Well, I was trying to mathematically in my head figure out how even though I did it stupidly and across.
You did it too. I'm like, I didn't.
Well, that's when I realized that you made the 2 on the side, but I was trying to say that from an square area of the thing that I took the same as you, which I clearly had not. So.
No, and you were getting outraged, and I'm like, why are you so worked up about this?
Because I was
laughing so hard because I'm like, I cannot believe how wrong you are, and it's making me laugh.
It was bad.
The idea of this. So and I'm like, I don't know what you're so worked up about, but it's
ugly and awkward, I would say.
I would say so.
What was yours?
Well, I'm sure I have others. Didn't I have an awkward moment at Disneyland? I don't even remember anymore, to be fair. It's such a whirlwind. But I do remember that it had been a minute since we've walked our poor dogs. So we decided to go on a walk, a quick walk, actually. We're like, we're going to make this brisk. It's going to be less than a mile. We're just going to run them around, and then we'll get back to work and do whatever we got to do. But we got to get these dogs work. We got to work these dogs. So we're walking. They're excited. We have them on these new leashes that we bought because the other ones were just too hard to control them because they're huskies and they're so goddamn strong. Yeah. And these ones are better, I think. But we're still getting, the dogs are getting used to feeling the tension of them and stuff like that. And so we're walking. We're probably a quarter of the way done and we're on our way back, headed home. And every time Sasha is walking, if I adjust the thing, she thinks she can bolt forward like I've given her some tether and she can run. Right. Well, that's not the case. So I was switching hands, and at the same time, she felt the relax, like she thought she could push forward, fall or pull forward. And instead she was like, oh shit. And she took off like a bullet at the same time that there was leaves and stuff below me. So not only did I slip on the leaves, I got jerked forward, fell down, and it wasn't an immediate fall. Like I was trying to hold myself. I could feel myself falling. I'm like, at one point, I'm so clumsy that at some point during the time of a fall, I will just give up and decide to fall and hope that I don't hurt myself. Because if I continue to fight the fall, I'm going to fall worse, and I'm going to hit something and I'm going to do whatever.
Yeah. Tuck and roll.
So not only did I fall on my knee hard, she took off because and then she starts running. And then I'm like, first thing, I'm okay. I'm all right. Because to see a grown ass woman falling is very dramatic for most people.
Sure.
The guy coming toward us in his truck stopped.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, what's all this? Because then you fell.
I dove.
Oh.
It wasn't
Somehow
a fall.
we recovered the dogs that didn't run away, oh my God.
I went to try and cut Sasha off from running around this car, forgetting that I still had Bodega, and he went the other way around the car, and so I had to let him go, and then it dawned on me, he's the one not to let go.
No, he'll run.
And he'll do damage.
He'll go kill a chicken.
Right. So
he'll go hunting immediately.
I get him back before he realizes he's loose. I go around the car and I grab the leash. And meanwhile, Sasha's getting a little freaked out, so she darts by me into the street where this guy had already stopped. But as she went by, I dove and grabbed her leash. As it was literally at the last second, I was able to grab the hoop and grab her and yank her back. So it was a very
shout out though. A long time ago when TikTok started becoming really, really popular with the products that they would push on people.
Yeah.
There were, and if you're listening, you either know or have a pair of these leggings where they look like that waffle color legging. They were waffled leggings, and they made your ass look really, really good. So I have a pair because just like everybody else, I'm like, oh, I want to try this because they were on Amazon. Sure. So I bought them in navy blue, and they're cute and they fit great, and they're perfect for working out and walking and stuff. And they do make your ass look great, by the way. And so when I fell, I thought for sure that I just torn the shit. My knee is so fucked up that I scabbed my knee so deep I didn't realize.
Yeah.
But those leggings
didn't rip.
Not a pill, a rip, a scratch. It's like I never ever wore them. They are so well made. So shout out to those, whoever those were.
To the ass tights.
Yeah, and I am still, dude. I had to wear a Band-Aid, and it's been like 2 weeks. It's insane.
It was a pretty good fall, and then. There was another aspect to that.
What?
After everything else.
I dropped my phone.
Yeah.
And I left it behind and I didn't know.
We got almost all the way home and you went, oh shit, I forgot my phone. So I give you the dogs because we're almost home. And I run back because I didn't want, what if it was in the middle of the street or something?
Right. So I thought for sure it was gone.
So I go back.
People are so horrible. They'll steal things immediately and go, oh, look, I got a new phone.
It's literally sitting. Not only is it sitting, and then, so this is funny. I was like, I go to get it, and this, I got back so fast that, it hadn't even the lock screen hadn't even come on yet.
Yeah.
And Pokemon was on the screen.
Yeah, I was getting Pokemon.
And I'm like, is this why she fell?
No.
Was she paying attention to Pokemon?
No, it was in my...
It says right in when you get in the game, be careful of your surroundings.
No, it was in my hoodie pocket.
Yeah, I know.
And then it flung out.
Yeah, it was there. We got it back. No damage.
Thank God. Anyway, yeah, so that's my awkward moment.
That was a good one.
And it was funny because our daughter's like, hey, maybe you guys are getting too old to have huskies. And I go, you know what? Shut your mouth when you're talking to me, for starters.
Shut your mouth when you're talking to me.
Number one. And number two.
When you talk to me, shut your mouth.
I understand. And, you and I just talked about this with you yesterday about how I really want to ask about this. Animals seem to be living longer than their age range. If you're taking really good care of your pets, as most of us do,
I would hope,
they're not living and dying accordingly. They're living a lot longer than their expectancy. And so they're getting weird diseases. They're, whatever, when they hit a certain age. So the reality of getting another husky that's going to live another 15 goddamn years is something to think about. It's
like what's that comedian where he's 49 and he's got a 5 and a 3-year-old?
Yeah. Oh God. Jesus. Sebastian Maniscalco. By the way, his new special on Netflix, please go see it. It's so funny.
It was pretty funny.
But yeah. And it's like, you can't do a lot of life if you've got all these old ass animals.
Yeah.
That's half your fucking world and day. Is taking care of these critters.
And that includes if you don't have kids, apparently, because I told you this yesterday, but I had seen the phrase many times, dinks, which is like dual income, no kids. And then somebody goes, but now there's dink wads. And she said it like it was a positive. I'm thinking like
dinkwad
negative.
That's a name I would call someone.
Yeah, right. Dual income, no kids with a dog.
A dog.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
Well, anyway, other than the Raiders just completely breaking my heart yet again, I don't know what more there's to talk about.
I don't even want to talk about it. I was I got up this morning, and granted, they played on Thursday, so I was like, I knew there was no game to watch today. But even then, with all the fantasy football and stuff, we're usually...
And it was funny, I was thinking about it. I'm like, I think we're actually, the Raider Nation, it's harder for us than I think any other franchise, because we were once great.
I mean, it's been a long time,
but that's not the point.
But
we were once great. Whereas, Cleveland, what?
Well, I mean, Liz, I don't want to take anything away from those guys, but the fact is that every time and this is going to sound bitchy, but prove me fucking wrong, is every time the Raiders get on the field, we are playing against two teams.
The refs
and the other team.
Agreed. Now, a lot of people will bitch at you and say that's not true. Don't leave it up to the refs. But I disagree completely.
Listen, how about this? Tuck rule, index card, and snowplow for a field goal. Tell me I'm wrong. 3 of some of the most famous ref calls on the planet
were against the Raiders.
Yeah. That's not a fucking coincidence.
No.
Name me another team where you could pull that out. You can't.
I am fairly certain
you can't.
That somewhere in the NFL Bible it says, "Thou shalt not allow the Raiders to win a Super Bowl ever again."
Yeah.
Because of Al Davis. It's like the fucking mob.
Yeah.
I think about what they did to Gruden. What the fuck was that?
Yeah, I had a friend.
I'm not excusing anything, but let's be like, he's the only one who's ever said anything questionable ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Anyway.
I can't even with it. Anyway, yeah. So the Raiders suck, but you know what? What else is new? Anyway, all right. Well, that's it, I guess.
Wait, what? That must be good.
No, because you don't want to hear it.
What?
You don't want to hear it. You hate it.
It's Sister Wives, isn't it?
Yes, and you hate it, and you don't want to hear it. But I will say this. I made a post on Facebook. It's on there now.
Yeah.
Someone on Reddit.
You made a post on the Facebook?
I made a post on the Facebook, and I'm going to listen to it on the iTunes. Somebody on Reddit said, "Hey, if there was ever a Sister Wives movie, who would play the 5 main people? Cody, Mary, Janelle, Christine, and Robin." And I was like, "Oh, I love shit like this. I love shit like this." I'm like, who would play who? So I made the post of my choices of who would play all these people. Jeff Bridges would definitely play Cody Brown.
Oh,
they actually even look alike.
I thought it was going to be Dog the Bounty Hunter.
No, he doesn't look like that.
No.
Lauren Graham from Gilmore Girls would play Mary.
I have no idea what the women look like. I can't remember.
Well, I'm just telling you the names of the people I chose.
Oh, sorry.
Missy Pyle would play Janelle. You won't. Just Google her. It's fine.
I'm not going to.
You don't care.
I don't.
Bridget Fonda would play Christine.
Bridget Fonda.
Yes. And then Elizabeth Moss would play Robin. And it would be so good. It'd be so good.
I don't want these people to have the attention they're getting.
I know, but it's such a shit show. It's such a shit show.
Not a shit show. It's a show.
It's a shit show. It's a shitty shit show. And, somebody, a lot of these women of color are like, why are you white bitches so obsessed with the Sister Wives? Like, why is this suddenly a thing? And somebody goes, because it's glorious watching a white man lose everything.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like
no, that's fair.
It's like this show 100 years ago was presented to the audience as polygamy works. And this is how. Watch these people who are very attractive and have a bunch of happy children. They're not ugly people. The Sister Wives are not ugly. No, they're not.
I'm not talking about the Sister Wives. I'm talking about literally everyone on that show is homely.
Oh, God, no. Okay. No. You would have to... You don't look at... You know what? You and I do not look at women the same way. It's fine. Cody was even attractive once, but youth is attractive in general.
Yeah. Well, they've been worn down by life. Let's just put it that
They've been worn down by a lot. Yes. Yeah. But anyway, it was presented as, hey, here is what polygamy really is. It's not Warren Jeffs and the cults and the weird dresses and all the hair and the sex and the child brides. This is what polygamy really is. 5 consenting adults with very happy children, raising them together, blah, blah, blah. When it was a total lie.
Yeah,
it was a lie. And now we're seeing what it really is.
Yeah.
Favorites, mental abuse, negligence, money issues, like lying. Like there's a lot of stuff that nobody, wanted to talk about. No, there are
all
perks.
Sounds vaguely
there are perks
normal,
to being in polygamy. No, there is not. There is not.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing it for what it is. And, bravo for TLC going, all right, we're done with Cody being, we're taking over. This is the editing. This is the truth. And a lot of it happened during the pandemic when they had to film themselves. And this is like, well, this is what we have to work with.
Yeah.
So let's show everybody what an asshole he is. And here we go. But, when you're dealing with cult mentality,
he kind of gets everything that's coming to him.
Oh, 100%. But when you're dealing with, and it's really hard, but if you were looking at 5 people who were raised in a cult and a legitimate cult. And so they don't see or think or hear things the way someone who's never been in a cult. They don't respond the way that they didn't have the exposure to life the way we did. So now it's like they're waking up in their 50s and it's crazy to watch. I feel sorry for all of them, to be honest with you, because they don't know of what they speak or think. So
sounds like half the country.
Well, I don't know, but what I do know is that
version of half the country.
I think it's very interesting. And there's a lot of psychiatrists weighing in now. They're like, okay, I saw this to you guys. Here's my professional opinion. Blah blah blah. It's really funny. The obsession is hilarious. And you know what? TLC's like, bring it in.
The next season
bring
will be
the millions.
All counseling for each one of them.
Oh shit. They're going to be like, give us a raise. And then we'll continue is my guess. Anyway. All right. Well, that's enough of this.
Let's put them on Paradise, like Bachelor in Paradise.
I love Bachelor in Paradise. So
Let's put a bunch of polygamy people on a beach and see what happens.
It's just so bad. Bachelor in Paradise is so bad. And I watched that and I'm like, you know what? I remember my 20s and I must have been this terrible. I had to be this terrible, just as terrible as you. These are people who are not fully formed, thinking they want to be married. No, you don't. No, you don't. Please don't. When I beg people in their early 20s to not get married, I'm like, watch Bachelor in Paradise. This is what I'm talking about. You are not prepared for marriage, my friend. Don't do it.
Don't.
Please. Anyway. All right. Well, hopefully next week. Stephanie is out with the flu, actually. And that's what happens when you have school-age children after a pandemic. You get every germ on the planet. But also because I wanted you to sit in for one final show for the year. So thank you so much.
Of course.
And next week we will do our final show 2022. Woo-hoo. And I assume that we will be back for 2023.
One would hope. Y2K?
Yeah, we're going to have to talk about some of our goals for the show as we do every year.
Yeah, that'd be great.
We'll see what's the what. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.